Welcome to REMelations. We're your hosts.
I'm Mindy.
And I'm Brooke. REMelations is a dream interpretation podcast where we read listeners' dreams, from nightmares to the just plain bizarre. Join us as we give you our comedic interpretation of your fucked up REM cycle. This week, I'm sharing a dream from our bestie, Beck, about a very strange family game night.
Ooh, I love a good game night. We also have catnaps, of course, and this week we have dreams that include being trapped in an elevator, devils at graduation ceremonies, rules of the dream world, and Swiss cheese type boots.
Oh, gotta see them.
And stay around to the end where I'm sharing my recent trip to Lake Lanier, the history of it, and why it might be haunted. All right, bestie, make sure you have your notebook and pen ready to take down notes of what the dream world rules are. And let's get started.
Woo! Hi there.
Hello, old friend.
Sunshine.
Not that you're old. I mean,
well,
we're kind of
old.
I'm
old,
but,
you're old.
But we have been friends a long time, so my dearest, oldest friend.
Mindy, I was just thinking, I don't know if it was August or September, but we're coming up on 30 years, babe.
I feel like we should have a party.
From the day we met. And I don't know if it was like the beginning. I know it was, I don't remember exactly when into the school year we actually.
If it was gym class, it had to be like the first day of freshman year of school because it was freshman
Do you think we connected the very first class?
Well,
see, I can't quite remember
right when we rolled into the I don't know, but it's
but okay,
here.
Well, let's say next month is our 30-year anniversary.
Sounds good. Do you expect me to bring anything to the party?
Just yourself.
Okay. Can I bring like some cake and some champagne?
I thought that was just like a given. I thought you meant anything on top of that.
Balloons.
I'll have a balloon arch
that
we will stand underneath and do prom poses together.
Oh, we could do our friendship renewal? Yeah. Like a vow renewal, but it's just a friendship
renewal.
Oh my God. I think this might have to be a live show now that we're talking through it.
This is starting to sound amazing.
I think we can find some old notes that we wrote to each other and like read them like their vows. And
I'm getting emotional.
30 years. I don't know what the official anniversary gift is for 30 years.
Let's see. Let's look it up real quick.
Because I might have to start saving because it might be like a pearl or something.
30-year anniversary gift. Traditional.
Pearls.
It is pearls.
Oh my God. I didn't guess that. I don't know. Maybe it's the wedding photographer person in me that knew weird things like that, but pearls.
Is there a modern one? Because that said traditional.
Yeah.
Let me just check modern. It might be a little less expensive. It's not really telling me anything. Cotton?
I could use some nice sheets.
Cotton.
A shirt. I mean, there's a lot you can do.
That's right. Oh, well, wait a minute.
What?
Oh, never mind. It's not cotton. I don't know where I got that. It's diamond.
Oh, that's more modern because like
the pearl is the tradition.
Okay, well, it ain't gonna be diamonds, baby. I'm sorry.
The pearl is the traditional gift for a 30th wedding anniversary, with diamond being a modern gift.
No, I think we stay with the pearls. That's all I can. Some fake pearls is all I can afford. But we're gonna work on that. We're gonna see if we can come up with a live show for you besties to celebrate We're gonna call it our friendship renewal show.
Yes, it's going to be delightful.
Okay, bestie. My bestie, you. Hey, you.
Hey, you. Do you want to get right started?
Let's do it.
All right. This is from our bestie, Becky.
Becs. Yes.
Yes. So she starts with just, my lovely ladies. I like her so much already. I mean, we always like Beck, but I have yet another dream for you. So this is actually from last year.
Okay. Going to the vault.
All right. Going into the vault. Okay. It was nighttime at my house. and there was a game night happening with my siblings and their partners as guests.
Okay.
There is, in reality, a sort of running joke between the siblings that I am going to be forever alone, as I am the only one of us that has never been in a relationship. Oh. Beck, your family's so mean.
We could be your game night dates. You get a twofer.
Yes, look at us. We're a team already. All right. So, setting-wise, we were in my living room, and though we had enough chairs to seat us, 4 groups of 2-seaters and our pairs of chairs, I was sitting on a cushion on the floor.
Aww.
And I kept a note of the fact that the light was off behind me.
Okay.
Though my siblings, their partners, and me would have just been 7 participants for the game night, there was a rando present who was paired with me to make sure we had even numbers.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
It's Brooke.
It's me.
Surprise.
I'm jumping in. Oh, God, I hope I'm not this rando.
Uh-oh.
Wait do you see?
Uh-oh.
Whoever this bloke was, so also it's a dude.
Bloke. Okay.
Whoever this bloke was, I did not know him and couldn't necessarily describe him if I tried, other than the fact that I was very uneasy with him being there in general, let alone with him sitting in one of my seats behind me on one of the pair of chairs. So there's still open seating, but she's sitting on the floor.
Okay.
I did not like him at all and was incredibly tense around him the entire time. Not sure how late into the night the games were being played, but the sibling partner pairs would, one pair at a time, occasionally take turns leaving the room, and sometimes the house, to weirdly run errands and have chats in neighboring rooms of the house. I could never hear the content of the discussions they were having, but could hear the muffled through the wall sounds of their voices.
Okay. As like a game night host, that would piss me off. Like, okay, we're playing a game here, folks.
Sit down.
We stay focused? No.
Let's focus.
You don't need to run out for Cheetos. Just
bring whatever you
down.
need when you get here, and we will DoorDash or
and no side
Postmate.
combos.
No.
If there's things that have to be said, they can be said in front of the whole group. On game.
Yes. Secrets are no fun. Secrets hurt someone.
Hurt someone. Yeah.
If the rando left the room, always leaving alone, the sibling duos would immediately begin to quietly yet almost aggressively berate me for being rude to their friend. Like
their rando friend.
Beck's not doing anything wrong here.
No.
And it's her own house and they're making her sit on the floor and play with this creepy rando. I left the room once, apart from a semi-scene change dream memory viewing that will happen later.
Okay.
I went to grab a jumper from my bedroom, which, if you don't know, is a sweater.
A jumper?
They call sweaters a jumper.
Okay.
Only to find Mr. Fuckface Rando snooping around through my things.
No, bad rando. Stop.
Becky talks. Mr. Fuckface Rando. Yes, that's horrible.
That's rude.
He made some bullshit excuse about getting lost. And the direct
I got lost in your underwear drawer. Whoops.
Ooh, whoops, I don't know what I'm doing.
I got lost in your medicine cabinet. Oops.
It's
Stop
just
looking
so
at my shit.
confusing in here.
I thought this was the bathroom door.
And the direct quote of my response that I wrote down upon waking up was, I love that she wrote this down.
Yes.
Bruh, this is a normal 4-bedroom house, and you were told where the exits, bathroom, and kitchen were upon arrival. They are not hard directions to follow. Also, I don't like you, and that was a pathetic answer. So for real, how about you tell me why the fuck you are in my room rummaging through my shit?
That's right.
Beck.
Damn
Love
straight.
her. Love her.
Okay. I like
We
that
headed
when
back to
people
the-
came into game night, she's like, the exits are here and here and to
Yeah,
behind
it's like
me.
a-
She's like,
it's like a flight attendant.
And to your left.
Please check in front of you and behind you for your closest exit may be behind you.
If you are in an emergency, put your air mask on first before assisting others.
Boy, I would have shown him the exit right after I found him rummaging through my shit.
Right?
But she said we headed back down to the living room, me being understandably more suspicious of this fucker now after the sneaking around. Yeah. As we sat back down, I was hit with a very sudden realization that was so intense to the point where I knew I was undoubtedly right, which doesn't happen often. I don't tend to trust my brain very much. That Rando McDickerman was 100% involved in a specific dream incident that had occurred at some point leading up to game night.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Stay with me. I know
this is a lot. We're transporting in time.
Yes. I don't know how much dream time was between this dream event and the game night. I had been in some kind of tour bus that was more of an elongated van for smaller tour groups than a commuter type bus. And I was sitting in seats about midway along the bus with no tour goer occupying the seat beside me.
Okay.
The patrons behind me and on the other side of the bus were not of note. The one individual, each from the 2 rows directly in front of me, were about to be targeted.
Oh, no. How?
At least one masked gentleman boarded the bus with a firearm. I don't know if I'd call him a gentleman.
One other rando fucker.
Another rando fucker, but this one with a firearm. Climbing on, making his way down the aisle as he loudly explained that he was here for the 2 tourists from Japan.
Oh, no.
The lady from the seat in front of me shakily stood up and began heading down to leave the bus. Following the half wave the man gave of his pistol in a simple but threatening gesture that pointed her in the direction he wanted her to go.
Okay.
I don't like anyone telling me where to go, let alone with a pistol. Like,
no.
Hey, get over there.
He could have been a lot nicer, like the house tour she gave earlier.
Yes, the exit is here. Please step off the bus.
In uniform fashion.
Right? Calmly.
And please take
Everyone
your trash with you.
The floor will light up to lead you to the exit.
To your execution or whatever this is going to. It's not
exit,
good.
Execution, who knows? I stood up as well, moving to join the lady down the aisle and out of the bus, hoping that having me as the second person would convince the man that had been sitting 2 rows ahead of me, who I somehow knew was the actual second target, that he didn't have to get up and risk being caught for whatever was happening.
Beck, stop being a martyr. I'd be like, not me.
Come on.
Nope. Never been to Japan.
On the bus. We stepped out of the bus onto the floor of the apparent desert that we were traveling through, and there were more masked offenders standing around waiting for us with weapons.
Is this a masked offender reunion? Are we like at some festival in the desert? It's Burning Man?
20th anniversary. They're all getting together from their first kidnapping, and they're celebrating all over again.
They're going to do a renewal as well. I love it.
It's so sweet. I'm glad they could all make it. Once the initial man exited the bus, some more shenanigans went down that I can't quite remember the specifics of. But at some point, there was the revelation that the lady who had been ushered off the bus with me had unknowingly been used as bait to get a hold of me.
Oh, no. It worked.
Whoa! She had been genuinely terrified and unaware of the situation and was thankfully returned to the bus with no further interference.
Good for her.
That's good.
Not good for Beck.
It was unclear why anyone was targeted, whether for bait or otherwise. So she didn't even know why she was targeted. You know, this is strange.
Very confusing.
I was subjected to a significant amount of violence, eventually resulting in me being knocked out.
Yikes.
And then she says, inception level strangeness of seeing myself going unconscious while I am in reality unconscious.
Yeah, okay. Don't
she
like
was
that.
dreaming. Yeah, it's very Inception-like. Okay, I was back to being present in the living room for game night with the knowledge that immediately following the incident, I had just dream remembered I had been abducted, though I could not determine the specifics of this either, as in how long I was held for, where I was kept, how I managed to be freed so I could attend sibling game night, or any details like these that would be beneficial to know. Other than there was a substantial amount of emotional and physical damage sustained throughout the ordeal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm emotionally drained from this listening to this ordeal.
Know.
I know.
No, back, please. Again, I could not work out the extent of how Sir Rando of Who Knows Town was involved. And then I woke up.
He's behind it all. He's behind it all. He's still,
but how and why? But how and why?
He's still got tabs on you. You're supposed to act normal around him, and he's like trying to get some more dirt on you by digging through all your shit. And I don't know, the family maybe.
I don't like it.
The siblings, who knows? This goes all the way to the top.
What is going on? I know. It's terrible. It's terrible.
But what a crazy dream. That is a long, crazy dream.
Yeah. I when I read it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be woo, here we go.
Did your hand cramp up when you were writing your notes for what to talk about?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, because I couldn't stop thinking, because I was like, oh, this is psychological 100%. And I'm like, what's going on?
Okay. I definitely want to know what's going on. But before we jump in, do you want to tell our besties about how they can submit their dreams or support the show?
Absolutely. You besties out there, it's so easy. You just have to go to REMelations.com/support. That's where you submit your wonderful dreams like Beck. That's where you can buy our awesome merch. And best of all, join our sleepover squad for extra footage and everything. You get to see live video of our beautiful faces. It is so much fun. So join the party. Have a good time. It's very simple.
Okay, so, wow, where are you starting with this one?
Game night.
Family game night. Sibling game night. Are you a game night type person? Like, if you're invited, are you going?
I love games. Yeah. Love it. But I just don't have many game nights. I don't really have a group of people that have game nights.
I think if we lived closer together, we would have.
Yes. I want, maybe I'll start it.
There you go.
I'll start it.
You know, last time you slept over, didn't we play Trivial Pursuit until the wee hours of the morning?
You won.
Did we even finish it? Did I win?
I think you won.
We might have passed out. Okay, well, yay
well,
me.
we could have passed out too, but in my brain, I think you won.
Nice. Well,
but I do love, like, family get-togethers. We'll play board games and stuff, but a lot of times it turns into like more people are playing cards, you know, or something. But I do love games.
Yeah, it's a social activity.
It is. And so again, as a lot of dreams start, this sounds like fun. Like it should be fun.
Sounds good. We should go.
Sounds good. And as we know, what starts good often turns bad quite quickly. So family making fun of her, I didn't like it. I didn't think that was very nice. I know these are her real siblings because she said in reality. So these are her real siblings in the dream. Why is she kind of being bullied by them? I guess as a single girl in my family too, no one gives me shit.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
No.
And so what I was wondering is this very surface level? Like, does Beck have family issues or is her family representing another problem in her life, or maybe even her own struggle with being single? Maybe that bothers her more than she's letting on.
Sure.
But then even when there's chairs available at her own home, she has to sit on the floor. So again, it goes back to, is this something she's doing to herself? Is she punishing herself for whatever problem she's dealing with? Does she feel to blame or partially to blame for whatever this problem is that's coming across in her dream?
And sometimes the floor is more comfortable.
You know what?
Stretch your legs out. You can go crisscross applesauce.
Lean back.
Like sometimes it might be the better option, although it might not seem like it is. Sometimes being single is the better option.
Yes, see?
It's okay.
Mindy's good points. All good points here. So here comes the rando.
Rando, don't like this rando.
Don't like him. Ow!
It wasn't
sorry.
I'm like, no.
Instinctually, she didn't like him and made her uncomfortable. So it's always something to kind of notice, keep track of.
And I don't like the fact that he was sitting behind her. If you don't know someone,
and if this is your team member too,
comfortable.
He's supposed to be her team member. Like, that's not the best place.
I would say let's draw numbers out of hats this time. Because all partners do not always get to pair up together. In my game night, I'm making up now the rules.
And I think it should be a mix. I think it should be a mix. Yeah.
No collusion. You got to mix up the friends, get to know each other a little better. Yeah.
Well, there was this one game, I don't know if you remember it. It was one of the best games ever. It was called Seen It. And it was about movies and stuff. And you actually put a DVD.
I still have the DVD. It's on my shelf.
Yes. And my brother and I were never allowed to be partners after the first time we played it because
no one else.
We ran the game. We went first, however it happened, and we finished.
Wow. That's
around the board before anyone else got a turn, and so we were never allowed to be partners again.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's good to shake it up a little bit.
It is. Mm-hmm.
We always have to question when there's a rando. Is it just a legit rando? Because that happens, I would say, the majority of the time. Mm-hmm. There's just a rando. Or again, is this rando a representation of her issue in the form of something she can be mad at? Like a manifestation of her own issues that she can actually address, even if it's just in her dream.
And does she address it later? Because she lets rando have everything she's thinking.
She does. Yeah. So I'm very torn here. Very torn here because I think it might, and it could be a combination of many things.
But I like the idea, like you said, it's a manifestation of something she needs to address, and it's a physical way of looking at it and verbally yelling at it.
Yes. She's yelling at rando, but maybe she's yelling at herself. We don't know. Mm-hmm. Only Beck knows. But I do feel her family still plays a big part in what is causing whatever the stress is in her life. The insistence on the even numbers and pairing up. And it's like you said, it's not always a bad thing to be single. Mm-hmm. And then your big annoyance, they're leaving. They're leaving in duos and running errands or whispering through the walls. And
we're never getting to the end of categories in this state.
No, I would be losing it too, Mindy, because I would be like, sit the fuck down.
We'll take a break.
We're playing a
break
game.
Time.
It's supposed to be fun. This muffled conversation through the wall, I might get into this again later, but is that something that's showing miscommunication in real life where you're not getting, the whole picture, or maybe you're misunderstanding what's really happening?
Well, the first thing is if people are having a conversation in another room, you immediately think it's about you. Is Beck feeling conscious that these people are having conversations without her and she's missing out on something because the conversation is about her?
I would too, because she's not invited to any of these conversations or these trips for more Funyuns. I don't know. I feel badly for her. And then when the rando would leave, her family would just accuse her of being rude to him. And
you don't have to come to my game night.
Yeah, then don't invite rando to my game night. I'm like, but it didn't seem like she was being rude to him at all until she found him rummaging through her stuff. But why are they ganging up on her? And again, in real life, is her family maybe on the opposite side of her issue or problem that she's facing? Or like I said, maybe they are just concerned for her and it's not being communicated correctly. And communication can be so tricky sometimes between family, friends, whatever,
and especially
the
through
littlest
text.
thing. Exactly. Text, emails, you can't read the emotions sometimes,
Sometimes I have to just call my sister and be like, was I out of line? with my other sister. Am I looking at this correctly?
Yeah,
Like,
and
am I reading too much into this other part of my family, dynamic, my other sister situation?
Exactly.
Like, you have to check it. You have to check it.
Exactly. So Beck leaves, finds Rando in her room. Love how she told him off. Love how
Yes.
she told him off. And maybe, like we said, is it her telling him off? Is it telling herself off? We don't know.
Now, I wonder if that's like
does-
her personality in real life. Because sometimes I find myself in my dreams being more aggressive than I would be in real life. Less inhibited and more likely to tell someone
It's
off.
safer.
Yeah.
It feels safer. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. But I think this shows her determination to take action because she does not back down. She is confronting it. And she's not taking any of his bullshit. Like, she calls him out on it.
Yeah.
And rummaging through someone's stuff is such a violation. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Even a little thing like opening a drawer and maybe you're looking just like a peek. It feels like such a violation to me. I think a lot of people would feel the same way. This rando represents something very serious for Beck. Trust issues, uncertainty, confusion, frustration, loss of self and privacy. I mean, all of these things are part of that violation, I think. It's just, and that alone can be enough to spiral if you're already experiencing some kind of issue. Just that sense of, someone in your
On top of it, yeah.
in your space, it can be very uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't like that. Now we have Mindy's favorite, scene change.
Scene change.
But it's kind of more than a scene change. It's like
it's interesting.
the prequel to her current dream.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting because I feel like we see a lot of scene changes where it just changes completely or it jumps ahead. I don't remember too many dreams going backwards, like having a memory within your dream.
Right. And then coming back to your
that set up your
first
current dream and then going back. Yeah, I don't
recall anything
like
like
I
that
said,
either.
this one's very interesting. And she put it herself, very Inception-like, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that she is going backwards, I think that shows that she's still struggling with something from her past, too, whatever that may be.
I don't know, being captive and beat up and held at gunpoint.
That'll do
kind of stressful. Whatever it was in her past was traumatic or stressful enough that it's sticking around.
Yes. So this armed man. So only 2 people really stand out amongst the entire bus. She may be surrounded by people in her life, but I think she keeps a close circle and would do anything for them. Mm-hmm. And that shown when she stood up. Even though she wasn't the one asked to stand up.
Yeah.
She put herself out there. So, like, maybe there's the wrong group of people around her. She does have close people. But then I say, who the fuck is this guy who's being called up and does nothing and lets Beck take the fall? Like, what's he doing? Oh. I think that is abundantly clear that there is someone in her life, even outside of her family, that's not supporting her and maybe even actively going against her.
Okay.
But that whole scene shows her selfless nature and her putting others ahead of her own wants and needs. And I know you're this way and I can be this way too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's not the best.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to look out for yourself. And I think maybe she is a people pleaser, and she lets people maybe walk on her a little bit,
Well, when we flash forward back to the original dream, then that's when she kind of takes a stand and says, get the fuck out of my house or get the fuck out of my space. So it was a learning experience, and maybe that is something she's learning or has learned in her past is to now let people do that.
Now, when they get off the bus, there's more armed men outside. And I often say, because this is what I believe, as dream problems escalate or intensify, it only shows the gravity of the real problem in real life. Kidnapping and abused by many men with weapons is a huge alarm that shows she's not just dealing with a small issue or question in her life. It's something very serious. Then here comes the plot twist. Beck realizes she was the real target. But why? Why? Yeah. who is fucking with Beck in real life?
Yeah.
Or again, is she putting all the blame and all the pressure on herself? It could be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Like I said, only Beck really knows.
Right.
But abused mentally and physically and not being able to remember the details, this is where I come in, where I agree with you. Is this the pressure of being single? Is that the literal, like just literal culprit in this dream? Like you don't even have to look any further.
Yeah.
That pressure of being single. And maybe she was in a toxic relationship, like you said, and just hasn't healed from that. And that's okay. You have to take your time because you can't move on until you heal.
It's no one's timeline but your own when it comes to relationships and protecting yourself.
Lastly, how was Rando involved in this kidnapping? That's her question.
Don't trust him.
That's my same question. The dream wraps up back at game night with her family and Rando, and she is aware of something deeper going on after remembering the kidnapping. So was Rando there to call it to her attention in waking life, to face her issues or her past, to actually recall and deal with the details that maybe she can't seem to remember or has pushed down?
Mm-hmm.
He's
there for a reason. We don't know, and only Becs is gonna know.
Yeah.
Dig into that. I think that significance, whatever she ties that Rando to, is gonna unlock what this means to her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think the main point is Beck is stuck in her own head, and trust me, I get it 100%. I'm the same way. But her awareness in her dreams shows that she's smart and she's got some emotional things going on, and she will find a way to balance the two and find the reason behind all this. I think she knows, but it's hard to crack away sometimes. It's hard to dig deeper.
Sometimes you know, but yeah, it's the action part that's the hard part.
Yes. One last question for you.
Okay.
What was your favorite name Beck gave to Rando? Here are the three that I picked out.
Okay.
Mr. Fuckface Rando.
Like that one, yeah. Good.
Rando McDickerman. Oh, wait a minute. Rando McDickman. I thought it said Dickerman. Either way. Rando McDickman or Sue Rando of Who Knows Town.
I like Fuckface. I think throwing Fuckface out there.
Mr. Fuckface Rando.
Yeah, I think that's always a good
the
insult.
winner.
Yeah. Thanks,
but that
Beck.
was from our bestie Beck. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We hope you figure it out soon.
All right, Brooke, that brings us to the question of the week.
Ooh, I love it.
And look, I need like a little horn announcement there.
Yes.
Horn announcement.
I think you should just say horn announcement.
Yes, okay. Well, that's what we're going to do. Okay, here we go. This is tough. Would you rather save the lives of your 3 closest family members or 1,000 people you don't know?
Mindy, that's the worst question we've had so far.
You're welcome. You know, it's bad.
I know the right answer is to save the many.
There's no right or wrong. That's the point of this.
But I think I would be jealous and save my family. If we're just being honest, and I know that's the wrong answer.
There's no wrong
there's a
answer.
Right. There is, because you should always put the many over the few.
Yeah, if you're a robot, that's like computing, save the 1,000. No, it's hard without emotion.
Although on 30 Rock, Liz Lemon once said, if I could get free cable for life and it meant killing 3 random people, I would do it.
Oh, yeah. Cable's fucking expensive.
I'm choosing family, but I feel badly about it. What are you doing?
I'm choosing family. I think it would be different if it was like the end of the world and you can only save this because it's like, how do you procreate?
Mindy, you are always doing your workarounds with these questions. You are always trying to find a loophole.
Since it's not the end of the world, I would save my family. But if it was the end of the world, I would choose 1,000 people.
Well, duh.
So, okay, my answer is my family. But then again, it's like hard for me because I'm like, there's more than 3 people.
Well, yeah, I know that's hard too. I mean, you alone have 18 kids. So
it's a random lotto, kids. Draw a number.
I love y'all, but I'm pulling some names out of my hat.
I think that's the only way I could do it. I mean, I think that's the only way I could do it. Pick 3 family members, but then I'd have to like choose. But then how do I choose 3 of my 4 kids? Like that's just awfully bad as well. God. So maybe I just
Can I choose cats?
just my cats. It's lucky you only have 3.
Yeah, I don't have to make any choices. 1, 2, 3, easy.
Yeah,
But maybe there's one I wouldn't choose, and I think
depending on the day. Adam Field, I'm looking at you. Left
And
the
I'm
scar.
looking at,
The scar.
but it's just a little one.
Yeah.
It's healing. It's still healing. Hopefully, it won't scar.
Yeah.
Mindy,
Yeah.
that was a tough one.
I don't even know if I answered it yet because then how do I not choose one of my kids? So maybe I'm
I don't.
maybe I'm flipping and saying 1,000 people. I can't leave like a kid out. Like how would I live with myself if I chose not all of my kids? So
Oh my God. What if you talk to your kids and one of them
gets to be the martyr.
like they work it out and
How about
like,
they get to kill me and all 4 of them live?
see,
I'm saying my
our
daughters.
brains don't work well with these would you rather questions
No.
because
We're Virgos.
how our brains work are very similar and we always try to find that workaround. So
Okay, I'll go
Mindy,
humanity. I'll say 1,000 people. Then like that's the
now
only
you're
thing I
just
can do.
making me look bad.
That's my goal with this podcast. No.
Okay. Well, at least, besties, you know I feel bad about my decision, but I'm being honest.
Tough.
And that's a good
Tough.
thing. Okay. All right. Well, moving right along.
Yes, please do. Hey, and Bestie, if you want to jump in and answer that question, you probably don't, but if you do, you can look up our Facebook group. Just search for REMelations Besties or find the link at remelations.com/support. Join the conversation. Let us know what you think. Mm-hmm.
No judging here.
No, there's no right
judging
answer.
here.
It's hard.
Nope. It is a hard one. But you know what is easy, Mindy? Is having fun with our next segment, Catnaps.
Wow.
We love catnaps because this is the time where we read just a bunch of dreams. We don't go too deep into analysis. We just want to get as many of your dreams or dream stories, even if they're one sentence or just the thought, we want to talk about them. So let's get started with kitty cat naps.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump in first and start with a dream. This is Noah from Reno, Nevada.
Ooh.
I was in an elevator and wanted to go up. I waited for other people to get in it. Then I pushed the up button. The other people pushed the down button, and we went down several floors.
Oh, no.
I kept pushing up, hoping it would go up the next time. But each stop, more people got on, and the elevator kept going down further and further. After this, everyone got off, and I finally was able to push the up button again. This is when the elevator got stuck, and I was trapped inside.
Not cool.
The elevator then started swaying from side to side. I quickly thought to manually open the doors and quickly climb out onto the wrong floor to escape before it dropped down the shaft completely.
Whoa. That's intense. That's like the beginning of Speed.
One of the best all-time movies. I mean,
from start to finish, you're on the edge of your
you
seat.
can watch that movie. It can be on TV at any point of that movie, and that can be drawn in.
Jump in. Yep.
Absolutely. Because you know who's kick-ass in that movie.
I think I know who you're
I'm talking about. Hashtag. What does Keanu Reeves
dream?
Oh, he's such a young-faced baby boy in it, too.
I know. He doesn't have his weird facial hair. But, we talked about him, how he's considered one of Hollywood's best.
Yes.
Like, he's nice. He is generous. He talks to fans.
Yeah.
He's very humble and down to earth. And I
Yes.
love hearing stories like that. So
I do.
Keanu,
You know what? He's on TikTok too. He's like a big TikToker, but his TikToks crack me up because it's so him. It's like it's not like pose. It's not like overly thought. It's just so him.
Just so comfortable with himself, and who he is such a good person that you can't help but
Wonder what he dreams.
wonder what he dreams, and maybe he'll tell
Keanu,
us.
babe,
Please.
how did
we
you
love
escape
you.
that terrifying elevator falling down the shaft? First of all, and second,
Oh my gosh.
what do you dream? We'll flip flop those because we know it wasn't real, the elevator. But yeah, tell us what you dreamed first.
We are aware of movie reality and reality.
And dream unreality. So it all works
Yes.
together. It's all like a big movie in your head.
Yep. Oh, I love that. A big movie in your head.
Keanu.
Okay.
Babe, Mr. Reeves, let us know what you dream.
Thank you, Mr. Wick.
Oh, don't even get me started on the John Wick movies. Those are always on too.
Well,
So good.
can't go wrong with them either.
Love them. And thanks, Noah, for your terrifying dream. And that's one of the reasons I don't like elevators.
Well, that's probably a reason a lot of people don't
Although
like
I've heard
elevators.
from like physicists that it's pretty impossible for that to happen. Like,
Oh, really?
mhm.
All right. This one is Leslie from Albany.
All right, Canadian bestie.
No, Albany's in New York, Mindy.
Fuck me. I knew that.
The capital,
I knew that.
actually.
Oh, this is why it's good to join the
that's good.
sleepover squad.
Maybe there is an Albany, Canada.
I'm
somewhere.
gonna Google it. Hold on, let me just see if I knew this, even though I didn't. Albany.
God damn it, if there is, and that's where she's from, I'm like, Mindy. No.
Nova Scotia. It's in Nova Scotia.
There's
Albany.
an Albany, Nova Scotia.
Yep.
Okay, but I'm guessing Leslie's from Albany, New York.
Well,
That's
you don't
just a
know.
guess.
You don't.
We don't know. Leslie will have to correct one of us.
I'm guessing it's me. I'm the problem.
I don't know how many people from Nova Scotia are listening, but hopefully, I
One.
kind of hope
Leslie.
there is one.
Yes. They're like, I'm so offended you didn't know there was an Albany, Canada, Brooke.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I rarely dream, probably once every few months. On the occasions that I do, they're so realistic I can't distinguish the dream from reality. For example, it could be a casual conversation, an activity, or just a place.
Okay.
It has been happening ever since I was a kid. When I was about 8 years old, I had a dream about a painted wall and that was it. Just a painted wall.
What color was it? There's details to discuss here.
A few months later, I went to summer camp, and that exact same painted wall was in one of the rooms,
Oh, okay.
and I
That
freaked
is
out.
creepy.
So I'm guessing there
Yeah.
was something painted
Yeah,
on
not
it,
just
like a
blue.
mural. Not just blue. Because if you're trying to connect one blue wall to another blue wall you saw a month later, that's not
It's
really
Albany
that.
blue, Brooke.
It's Albany blue. Another occasion was when I dreamt about having a conversation with my mom. And again, a few months later, she said the exact same
Okay.
thing in my dream verbatim.
Interesting.
In the same background that was in the dream. It was in a house that I didn't even move into yet.
Oh,
That's kind of crazy.
yeah. Something's tying you.
I used to think it was just deja vu, but my most recent dream is what makes me think it's weird.
Okay.
During my freshman year of college, I only had one dream that year. I was living in a dorm and had no idea where I would be staying the next year. In the dream, all I can remember was just staring at a closet with clear plastic drawers and clothes in it. I woke up and thought it was strange
And boring.
boring dream.
Not gonna lie, it sounds like a pretty boring dream. Wow, look at
Well,
that closet.
she
It's
does-
so
she does
organized.
too. So organized. A year later, I moved into an apartment, and one day I woke up to my closet door open. It was the exact same way it was set up in my dream. Every time it freaks me out. My latest dream that I had was me talking to a friend that I did not know at the time, and them telling me that I was currently having deja vu and I wanted to make it stop. A few months later, the same thing happened as I was telling my friend the same thing, and it needed to stop. Can someone please tell me what this is? It happens every time I dream and occurs a few months apart from when I actually have the dream.
Ooh.
That is bizarre, Leslie. I mean, unfortunately, stuff like that happens. Maybe there's a way, maybe you're a little sensitive. Maybe you can tap into or harness something. Maybe you predict stuff a little bit.
Yeah, you got to work on dreaming. But it's interesting that she specifically said she didn't dream very often, but when she does, this happens like every time.
And it's every time. Like, that's crazy. I would
love to have a problem.
That would scare me, because what if you had a dream, like
bad,
a huge disaster dream, and you're like, oh my God. Like, these are boring dreams.
Right.
Like, you're looking at a closet or a wall. But what if you know that every time you dream, that dream comes true and you have this horrible nightmare? Oh,
nope.
That'd be a terrible thing to have. Good luck, Leslie.
Yes. All right, well, moving on. I've got Isabella from Washington. This is titled, Satan Was Playing a Game with Me.
Ooh.
Love a good title.
I don't know if I'd rather have Satan or Rando McDickman Fuckface. That's my partner.
Yeah, well, let's read the dream and find out.
Okay.
So the other day, I woke up from the weirdest dream I've had so far. I was at home with my mom, but the house was completely different. Of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was kind of old with hardwood floors and wooden windows, but it was still nice and cozy. I was in my room getting ready for bed. I laid down my head and instantly heard a whisper. Ew. I didn't give it much attention, and I continued making myself comfortable, but the voice didn't go away. It got louder.
No.
It's like a whisper shout.
A whisper shout. Hey,
Isabella! Whatever was there with me started moving things around and making weird noises. I thought I was going insane, so I called my mom in to check it out as well. However, it never made itself present when my mom or anyone else was around. But everywhere I went, it kept following me. The days passed and I had to go to my graduation ceremony. And then in parentheses it says I graduated almost 3 years ago. I don't know why this memory is coming back. I was wearing a long, silky red dress and I felt gorgeous in it. But when I arrived,
sexy.
It's like exactly what you want to graduate in.
Right?
I thought she was going to say a long, silky red robe. And I was like, oh,
that's
that makes
what
sense.
I thought too. Yeah, like a graduation robe.
Nope, just a red, gorgeous dress. Feeling gorgeous. But when I arrived at campus, everything was dark except for my dress. Even when the photographers were taking pictures, there was darkness. Anyway, I go to get my photo, and the photographer asked me to do a twirl. As I was taking my pictures, he told me that in every one of them, there was a tall woman behind me twirling as well. I assumed the devil wears Prada.
Was it a Prada dress?
That's the only way I'm picturing it. And it's Glenn Close.
Graduating 3 years ago?
Yes. She went back for her extra doctorate.
Okay.
I assumed that was what was tormenting me all those days. So I called out to her and asked who she was. She told me, "You know who I am, silly. I'm Satan." And then I woke up terrified.
Oh my God.
Ooh. At least Satan.
That gave me chills.
At least Satan has a good, fashion sense.
Of style.
She's like, I'll
That
match
dress
your
sounds
red
lovely.
silky dress for graduation, and I'll take it up a notch.
He should
add
have
a
given her
boa.
a fiddle too.
It's the hottest accessory for graduations, commencements.
Oh my God. Ooh, that was a creepy one.
I don't like how it was just whispering and then finally showed up, especially in pictures. Ooh.
In pictures, yes, that tracks though.
It does.
That tracks. Ooh boy. This one's anonymous. Here is one I had. That's how it starts.
Okay.
Thank you. It was set in a large, modern, minimalist architecture building. Lots of white and gray colors and glass windows that you could see the blue sky outside above, but not much else.
Okay.
It was like a mall, but with no stores. Just a very big public space and other people walking about. In this dream, I realized I was dreaming, but did not have control. I kind of just rolled with it.
Okay.
The atmosphere was tense there, like employees under the all-seeing eye of some totalitarian unseen dictator.
Don't like that.
Mm-mm. In this place, I met a girl, and she was very nice and realized that I knew I was dreaming. So she very quietly explained to me all the rules of the dream world.
Nope.
It's nice
I don't
of
think
her.
I want to know. I want to wake up now.
The rules were strange. Oh, you don't say? The rules
Number
were
one, don't ask about the rules.
Number two, don't ask about the rules.
And leave.
The rules were strange. One about staying out of pits and of not dreaming about war unless I had been in one. And about
Okay, it's a boomer rule. You can't speak of war unless you've been in one.
You don't get it. And I totally wouldn't. I get that. But this is odd for present day, I would say. And one about not dreaming about trains for some reason.
Pits,
Also,
trains, and war.
trains, war, and pits.
They didn't specify what kind of pits. Are we talking like pit holes or armpits?
I would think so, right? I don't know. I don't think like a pit of a peach would be that.
Oh, or I didn't
Scary.
even talk about a pit of a peach. There's so many pits.
Armpits.
Pits upon
peach
pits.
Pits upon pits.
I went to a school with a girl whose last name was Pitts. Can we not dream about her either?
God. We can't. You can't. Nope. Just all the pits are out of the question. She also explained it was important to not look each other in the eye in the dream world. Everything she said seemed to rhyme, which was odd to me because I am not a poet at all in waking life. I did manage to glance at her face so quickly, and she was very beautiful. Then all the dream characters started to seem even more tense or worried. We could all feel the presence of something approaching, but you couldn't see or hear it. Oh, that's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Only feel it like a mood change or something in the atmosphere. She said we had to go right now, and then she jumped on my back, and I held her legs and started running.
Like a piggyback ride?
Piggyback ride.
Hop on.
Piggyback
Those are
ride
allowed in the
through
rules.
non-mall.
That is like the preferred mode of transportation in Dream
Hey,
World. Follow the
love it.
rules. Piggyback rides.
Follow the rules and get a piggyback ride out of there when things go bad. I felt like we were being hunted by this unseen overlord intelligence. I thought if I could just physically get far enough away from the mood, it might go back, like trying to outrun a rainstorm. As I was running, I heard a female voice from behind me, but somewhat disembodied, say, in a non-emotional sing-song voice, "You're getting pretty high, getting pretty low, but just don't go where echo goes."
Oh, no.
I don't
Don't
know
like
if
that.
that's how she heard it, but that's how I'm saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't
Then
like it.
I heard the girl I was carrying scream, a terrified scream, and heard this snarling noise like a lion just bit into some raw meat right behind me.
Yikes.
I then instantly awoke in my room with full memory of everything and wrote it all down.
Ooh, that
Yikes.
is-
Good job, Anonymous, though, because that
Yeah.
was very specific.
Yeah, those
Glad
rules.
you woke up and
Mhm.
wrote it down.
I mean, it's like the 10 Commandments. You have to like get your stone and chisel and write it down when you hear
Correct.
about it. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Takes a little longer, but it's a little more permanent.
Yep. All right.
We're good.
Next, I have Retta, R-E-T-A, Retta from LA.
Oh, I was hoping it was Retta, R-E-T-T-A. I
Swim team.
love Retta.
I had this dream a couple of days ago, but one feature is puzzling me to the point where I feel like I should figure out what it's about.
Oh, gosh.
The dream setting itself was a pretty generic one. I was working in an office I worked in about 10 years ago. I went to a nearby shopping center and to the supermarket. I was wearing chunky, high-heeled boots.
Oh, okay.
A colleague pointed out to me that they were beginning to disintegrate.
Oh,
There were
no.
holes right through the heel, like you could see through them. And the thick
Oh.
soles were crumbling too. The actual boot was fine, but the heel looked like Swiss cheese. In the dream,
Ooh, that could be a new look. Swiss cheese boots.
Me. In the dream, I remember buying them from a small boutique, and they were nice boots. They were crumbling like perished rubber. The emotion I had about my boots crumbling was confusion. But I was also worried that people would think they were super cheap shoes when I actually paid a relatively high price for them.
I was going to say, if she got them at a boutique, I bet they cost a pretty penny.
Boots aren't cheap. Even Swiss cheese boots aren't cheap.
Is that like you have a stiletto, you have a kitten heel, and then you have a Swiss cheese heel?
Of course. She finishes by saying, I kept checking my reflection in every mirror I could see to look at my boots. Any thoughts on why I was obsessed with my boots?
Why wouldn't you be? You spend a lot of money on them. They sound super cute.
How did you picture, what color did you picture these boots?
Black.
Me too. Black.
Yeah, black. But super cute in my head. Super cute boots.
I'm thinking like laced up like Doc Marten.
Oh my God, I was
boots
thinking
with
like military lace up kind of like Doc Marten type of boots is what I pictured.
Yeah.
But with a chunky Swiss cheese heel.
Yeah, nice. You get your
I'd like to see
own
a picture of that.
for $49.
Draw me a picture of your boots.
Your heel boots. All right.
Okay, I've got Amanda from New York City, which Mindy, if you're wondering, is in New York.
Really? Well, there's a Kansas City, Missouri, so you never know.
That's true. It started off with me getting a job offer to work as an artist, which I accepted.
Nice.
As part of the agreement, I moved into a big mansion. This sounds like a good deal so far, I think.
Yeah. Good signing bonus on that job.
Yes.
As an artist.
I moved. The dream morphed into me being there as part of an arranged marriage.
Oh, no.
That's a little different.
That sucks.
You knew there had to be a catch.
Always.
You're not just an artist and get to live in a big mansion.
Nope.
Now I suddenly have a daughter, about 4 years old, with brown skin and black hair, even though I'm white, without a boyfriend, and a virgin. Oh. Ooh, she's immaculate conception.
Immaculately married.
My mind explained that her father was Italian and unrelated to my current arranged marriage situation.
Oh, wow. This is getting very Love Island.
Very soap opera-ish.
Yes.
Mindy, is this something from Days of Our Lives?
I'll have to check my scrapbook.
Okay, check your records. Check your binders. The man I was supposed to marry was a complete jerk, but somehow he disappears, not wanting to marry me.
Fine.
And it is decided I will instead marry another man. Well, that sounds good to me. You don't want to marry that jerk.
The father? Hot Italian guy?
It's just another guy, it says.
Oh, okay.
He is much nicer. Okay, we're moving. We're getting there. For now, the daughter is just kind of there, not doing anything.
Okay.
It's kind of hazy, but I think for a while, I was the daughter.
Weird.
With my current age and appearance, and I watched as a woman I couldn't identify. She looked kind of like me, but I'm not sure.
No.
Was sleeping besides this man I was supposed to marry. We got some crazy ones today, maybe.
Yeah.
When my dream put me back into my body and my 4-year-old daughter back beside me, we were all sleeping in one bed. I was dressed in some very revealing lingerie.
Oh, but wait. Are we adult or are we daughter now? Because
she's back to adult.
Okay.
But the daughter's in bed with her and this guy, so still not appropriate.
No,
still not appropriate.
No, put on flannel.
Put on a t-shirt at least or something. So very revealing lingerie. But all the man did was hold me and reassure me everything will be fine.
Oh, okay.
That's sweet, but what is going to be fine? Like, there has to be something he's talking about.
Right.
This is where the dread started to creep in. And it wasn't being in revealing clothing, nor being held by a man that scared me. Somehow, this mansion was dangerous, and I couldn't understand why. A while later, the nice man also disappears, and it's just me and my daughter. She suddenly starts yelling at me, telling me how bad of a mother I am, and I start crying.
So she just got to be a teenager?
She just went from 4 to teenager.
Yeah, I hear you. You're
the worst. You're the worst. I hate you.
You're ruining my life.
Have you heard that one a few times? I think it comes with the territory.
Yeah, it does.
I start crying and telling her I'm sorry and hugging her. Then the first bad man returns.
Oh,
But now
no.
he is attacking the mansion and the city around it. Everything bursts into flames like it's World War II as I watch from the window. The last thing that happened before I woke up was me just holding the little girl and apologizing. I didn't care about the war at all. It wasn't scary, but my daughter vanishing in my arms as I realized she isn't real made me feel terrible.
Oh. I
That's
didn't like that one at
intense.
all. No. Starts
No.
again. Didn't really care for it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't remember reading that one all the way through before. So it's kind of a surprise for me too.
Surprise ending. Oh, yeah. That had
Ooh,
a lot.
but I mean, we've had some weird, twisty, turny
A lot.
dreams today, but that's
We have.
awesome.
Yeah. Wow. Bestie, if you have a dream to share, you can always email us. But the other thing you can do to support the show is to tell a friend about the podcast.
Ooh.
You can tell your future arranged spouse, even though we don't condone that. Or you can tell that person that you're stuck in an elevator with, I'm
Ugh.
trying to go up. Stop pushing the down button and don't break this elevator. You got time as you go all the way down.
Yep.
Tell them about the podcast.
Maybe you can even be listening to it while you're in the elevator.
Maybe that's something we have to look at, Brooke. Maybe we switch out the music for
Yeah, the
REMelations
music has
podcast.
yes. I think
Oh.
elevators would be less scary with
Playing
our
it.
delightful voices.
Sure
coming
they would.
through.
Or you can tell your favorite graduating classmate, the devil, about the podcast. 'Cause everyone's got one in their class. Just got to figure out who it is.
Maybe more than one.
Bestie, that's how we grow, is if you just tell one or two people about the show. And it makes us happy to come back each and every week to share more dreams with you.
Sure does. Sure does.
All right, Brooke. I kind
Oh,
of
gosh.
talked to you a little bit off air about this, but today's topic is a two-parter.
Ooh.
I couldn't fit everything into one because it would be too long. So I have the first part of a topic for you today.
Mindy, is this our first two-parter?
It might be.
Oh my God. You know when you watch Dateline and it's a two-parter, you know it's going to be the best episode because if you can't fit it into one, oh boy,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
going to be good.
Well, you don't have to
Hey.
wait long because next week I'm also doing topics. So you're going to have it back to
Yep.
back. So stay tuned next week for part 2. But you may have heard in recent weeks, I was planning a trip to Georgia.
Yes.
And I was also texting you, my best friend Brooke, that we drove by or around Lake Lanier. And we've talked about Lake Lanier before a little bit, but we never really got into the lore of America's most haunted lake.
Well, you've talked about Lake Lanier. I've talked about Lake Rainier. 'Cause I say
Right.
it wrong.
Brooke
every
just
time.
makes up. Yeah. Maybe after this, after I say Lake Lanier a few more times, you'll remember it's Lake Lanier.
Okay,
Rainier.
I'll try it. And I yelled at you, young lady, when
I
she
did-
showed me the turnoff for that. She took a picture of the sign, the street sign, and I said, "Don't you take that exit. Don't you take that exit." And then the next thing I know, I'm getting a picture of her where? On the lake.
I was on the lake.
Not just looking at it or near it,
I went
on the lake.
That's right. But I wanted to learn a little bit more about, because I heard it was a dangerous lake. You know, so many people die there every year. But what's the history of it? Why do people find it so haunted? And so, Brooke, to say it was a deep dive,
Ah,
a deep, deep dive.
I'm excited to hear what your research has brought because I recently watched like a short documentary on it, just like a half hour. So I'd like to know how this expands because I know a
Okay.
little bit, but not everything.
All right. Well, if you're not familiar, Bestie, Lake Sidney Lanier is
Oh.
located in northern Georgia. It's about 58 miles from Atlanta, and it's a reservoir lake, which means it is a man-made lake.
Yes.
It's named after Sidney Lanier, who was a Confederate soldier and poet. So
Okay.
there's that.
There's that part
There's
of it.
that. I guess he was a good poet, but he was also fighting for the wrong side. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care really how good of a poet you are.
mhm. Yeah. So other than being named after someone who I'm not sure we should be rooting for, just because I didn't research that too much, but off the tip of it, doesn't sound great.
No.
The lake is huge. I mean, it is a 38,000 acre lake. Which,
yeah, that's a little big.
It's a little big. It's so big that it covers 5 counties, touches 5 counties: Hull, Forsyth, Dawson, Gwinnett, and Lumpkin counties. If you didn't know how much 38,000 acres is, it's about 59 square miles in surface area, but 690 miles of shoreline. Yeah. Supposedly,
That's a good time.
there are catfish as big as cars in there because the max depth is 156 feet. Whoa! The lake is popular with picnickers, hikers, campers, people who just want to go swimming or boating. There's jet skiers, particularly around the summer holidays, of course. Summer.
Well, yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Hot. Gotta get in the water.
Ugh.
Over 11.8 million people visit the lake annually per the
Holy
Georgia
cow.
Department of Economic Development. 11.8 million. That's a lot.
Is that just
And
like...
2. And Mark and I.
Oh, yeah. +2.
+2.
Is that like tourism visitors or everyone that
Everyone.
goes?
Yeah. This could be locals as well. Yeah.
Wow.
So here's the question, Brooke, that I'm going to ask at the end of this 2-parter. Is it haunted? Is it cursed?
Or both.
Or both. You knew it. Originally, so here's kind of why it took me so long to do the research, because I heard there was a lot of people who had drowned in the lake and it had negative energy because of all the fatalities that happened there. But upon research, there's a history of this lake that I wasn't even aware of. And this is where I need to start.
I think I know where it's starting.
We're going all the way back to the land when it was inhabited by the Cherokee Nation.
Yep.
So we're talking much later, but we're in the late 18th and 19th century here, where an anthropologist named James Mooney studied Native American cultures around that time and actually lived with many of these cultures, describing the tribes he had lived with, including the Cherokee. In 1888, he published a book called Myths of Cherokee. And he noted how central water was to life for the Cherokee Nation, as well as the spiritual significance. There was a rite known as going to water. This is where a healer would lead a group to water at daybreak every morning, where they would immerse themselves at water at sunrise. It was sort of a rebirth, and it was a vital part to their lives. This ritual was used for long longevity, and the water was life and was sacred. That was until the Cherokee Nation was forcefully removed from their own land.
What?
I know.
I've never heard of such a thing happening. It's so
enough.
terrible what we've done to the Native Americans.
In the 1830s, gold was found in the area around Georgia, before it was Georgia. And the U.S. government, as it did, claimed white settlers could take this land. And this was the southern tip of what would ultimately become known as the southernmost origins of the Trail of Tears.
Oh, gosh.
The leaders of the Cherokee people spoke out against white men from creating dams to transform waterways, because the Cherokee believed when you alter the flow of water, like a river, you essentially kill the river.
Oh.
The power of the water for cleansing and renewal and giving life stopped when the Cherokee were removed from their ancestral land, and of course, when the dam was built, when Lake Lanier was created. Some people believe it might have been cursed from the fact that we had dammed up this river, and it was held as sacred for the Cherokee Nation.
Of course. And not just dammed up, but we kicked them off their land.
Yes, and that. But it won't be the first time we kicked people off this land, Brooke.
Or the last.
Or the last. Let's fast forward a little bit to the 1860s, where the turbulence of the Civil War was taking place. The turn of the century, it was the Reconstruction area of the South. And although slavery was abolished, racism, of course, still existed, as it does today.
Yep.
In the turn of the century, there was a town called Oscarville. Have you heard of this?
This is the part I know.
Okay.
Because they flooded, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the part where I have never heard this story before, and I as much as I can tell part of this story, I feel like can't do it justice as being a white woman. So I'm going to put a couple links in the show notes to some podcasts that did a really great deep dive into this particular point. One of the podcasts is called Black Girl Interrupted Podcast with Ashley Pitts, and she just does a great job of explaining.
Pitts?
Oh, that's weird.
Pitts? Okay,
That
sorry.
that is
Ashley
weird.
Pitts.
That is weird.
It is kind of.
But she goes into more something I couldn't understand or even begin to understand and explain how this affected, her heritage of Black people. So, but let me tell you about it because I didn't know about this history. So I think it's important for everyone to know.
Absolutely.
So Oscarville at the time in the starting the 1860s was a very bustling Black community and a beacon really for the Black culture in the South. At the time, it was a town of 1,100 Black people. There were families who owned their own land, operated their own business, had their own churches and schools. But because we as white people couldn't, not we as in you and I, but
I get it.
we as a collective white people couldn't stand to see Black people doing well, racial tensions continued to build with the neighboring white community called Cummings, Georgia. In September of 1912, an 18-year-old white woman named May Crow was found raped and murdered along the banks of the Chattahoochee River. Upon finding her body, the white men of the town walked to the Black part of the community of Oscarville without any evidence at all and pinned this tragedy on 4 young Black people.
Just randoms.
No evidence whatsoever.
None. Probably just like the first 4 they saw.
I think that's really what it boiled down to.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
And these 4 young people are just young babies doing nothing wrong.
Yep.
At the time, there were siblings Oscar and Tressie Jane Daniel. He was 18. She was 22. Their 16-year-old cousin, Ernest Knox, and a friend of theirs, Robert Edwards, who was 24. So we're talking 16 to 24. Just young adults. Probably just doing nothing, just living their lives.
Yeah, in this one of the first of its kind towns, too.
Yes.
Like freed slaves making profits and having land and doing business.
Just living their lives.
Yes.
As everyone has the right to do.
Yes.
I'm just going to put a little bit of a warning here. And I'm going to, of course, history is dirty and awful, but it is important to discuss. But just a warning here. So, just young adults, 4 of them were questioned. The 16-year-old, Ernest Knox, was beaten into confession, saying that, it was them and Edwards, the 24-year-old, who had committed this crime. 24-year-old Edwards was arrested immediately and taken to jail. It was only a day later when Edwards was lynched. A white mob invaded his jail cell, shot him, drug him through the streets to the Cummings courthouse, where they hung him from a telephone pole outside, where then he was continually shot at, even though dead. It was then again shot at.
Oh, my God.
By whoever wanted to. It was allowed. It was not that. This is hard. Sorry.
Yeah. It's bad.
After Edwards' lynching, white mobs known as the Night Riders started going door to door, burning down Black businesses, Black churches, and demanding all Black citizens leave their county. And
Boy, it sure sounds like history repeating itself with the Native Americans.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. And this is, again, where Lake Lanier is located. So this is a history of tragedy, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the female of the group, Jane, 22, she was dismissed from her charges, probably, I'm assuming because she was female. But Ernest Knox and Oscar Daniel were not so lucky. They were both found guilty after only an hour of deliberation and no evidence. They were sentenced to death, and 5,000 people gathered to watch these teenagers
oh my
be
God.
hanged. They were 18 and 16 years old. And that's not even the population of the town of Cummings. It was like 3 times the town's population.
So people are coming from around. Oh my God.
Every black resident was run out of the town of Oscarville, and white men and their families took over the lands, farms, and homesteads. A couple of decades later is when the actual lake was created, but these were known as drowned towns. So there are also places like this in Florida and Oklahoma where black-led, black thriving towns were driven out in order to flood for lakes and water resources. There's a book by this guy named Patrick Phillips. It's called Blood at the Root, A Racial Cleansing of America. And I would recommend this if you want to read deeper into this Oscarville story. What made Forsyth County so unusual is how the racial cleansing of 1912 would be continually, generationally passed down, generation to generation, that they didn't want black people in their county. And so here's the crazy thing. So Forsyth County is still part of what borders or part of what Lake Lanier is on, and that's what we drove through, and looks like a very nice, affluent, white, middle class, upper middle class area. But here's something that I found that was just shocking to me. Between 1912 and 1987, not a single black person lived in Forsyth County.
What?
75 years. 30,000 residents and no black residents.
Oh my God. That's crazy. 75 years?
75 years. This is so crazy that Oprah Winfrey visited this town for an episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show in 1987. Asking, she actually, and I'll put a YouTube link, she gathered the residents of Forsyth and asked them questions of why there were no black residents in their town.
Did she buy a house immediately to be the first one?
I think this was early Oprah, so I don't know.
I don't think early Oprah didn't have that kind of money.
But man, it was, you know, people were in her panel wearing buttons that said "Keep Forsyth White." In going to a panel
in the late 80s.
In the late and now, I mean, there's been stories of Ahmad, the guy who was running in, was it Texas, where he was followed by a pickup truck of white men and told to get out of their neighborhood. I mean, the things, it still comes, it's still happening. Those are two awful pieces of history that are getting repeated. But I am going to jump ahead a bit. Again, if you want to read more of it, I don't feel like I can do this story justice. Check out the podcast I'm going to list and the books. But to jump ahead a bit, to 34 years to be exact, Congress approved a 1946 River and Harbors Act, which covered waterways across the country. Congress appropriated money for new projects that included $45 million for the creation of Lake Lanier.
Great.
The main purpose of the project was flood control of the Chattahoochee River, protecting the metro Atlanta area, but also to add hydroelectric power to power Atlanta, as well as drinking water.
So good intentions, but not great how they got that.
There. No, not at all. Of course, like any other construction project, it was over budget and over time. It ended up costing $1 billion in 1946.
What? $1 billion?
1 billion. B is a billion. So what do you think it would cost today?
I have no idea. I don't know. 75 billion?
10 billion.
Okay. I was way off.
That's all right.
That's a long time ago, though.
Yeah. But billion's a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
The ground broke for the building of the dam in 1950, and it lasted 7 years. Because stealing land takes time, Brooke. Takes time.
Yeah.
And steal it they did. There was an unverified source, the grandson of someone who was helping acclimate and get the land, buy the land. He said his grandfather told him that if anyone had 5 acres or less, regardless of having any structures on it, it went entirely unpaid.
Oh.
So there's that. Because the state of Georgia or the government was claiming eminent domain. And so land was seized. Some of the residents took up unlawful civil lawsuits, but at the end,
that's not going to go anywhere.
They're all kicked out. What is this land? Other than the town of Oscarville that was run out in the surrounding area, there was about 500,000 acres of farmland. It displaced 250 families. There were 15 businesses and 20 cemeteries
Yep.
where they built the lake. On February 1st, 1956, the dam was completed. And when I think they're called slice gates, closed, like the little gates that keep the water in or out. And that's when Lake Lanier began to fill. Planning the total depth of the lake, as previously mentioned, to be 156 feet deep.
That's so deep.
So deep. So when they were planning this, they wanted to make sure they took out anything that floated. So anything that was like not attached to the ground, they decided to take out. But did they?
No, but also, even if it was attached to the ground or in the ground.
Things become unattached after 50 years?
And they just flooded over it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Towns. Yeah, buildings, everything, right?
And they told citizens that they relocated tombstones and graves. There was a diver that went down there. I missed his name, but he dove down there in the 90s, and he found full grave sites with headstones.
Yep.
There were buildings, churches, forest areas. There's even a racetrack, the Gainesville Loop or Speedway. They're just covered by water. And actually, in 2007, there was a drought that exposed part of the racetrack in this lake.
Oh my gosh!
I saw pretty cool pictures. I'll post. There was 300 documented unknown soldier graves under the lake, and we don't know how many undocumented graves. Yeah. Again, may I remind you, this is drinking water.
Please don't.
I know there's filtration systems.
As I'm drinking my delicious Fiji water.
I'm sure that they cleared out everything from that when they created that Fiji lake. But it takes a long time to fill this bathtub of a lake. It took a year and 8 months before they dedicated the dam. So they dedicated October 9th of 1957. And
to
the dam,
Confederate soldier.
To a Confederate soldier. And then the lake was at its full capacity a total of 2.5 years later in 1958.
Oh my God.
So other than the obvious tainted dark history, what causes this place to be haunted? How many people have died, Brooke? And what are the ghost stories that are involved? That I am saving for part 2.
Oh, damn it. I can't wait. But it is important. You have to know the history and respect the history to know what's happening today or what might be happening today.
I mean, I think it's tragedy upon tragedy. And I will get in, we'll talk about what we think at the end of it.
I was going to say, I could just get into that right now. I'm going to have to wait. Oh, gosh. Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And then I also want to share, I did experience something very
Mindy
spooky on the lake, and I will share that in part 2 as well.
Go there. Oh, I have to wait.
You have to wait. I'm sorry, darling.
I'm so angry
I also have
at you. You risked your life.
I also have evidence, so it's even better.
God damn you. I'm so mad right now. I mean, I'm mad that you did it, but I'm mad that I don't know what happened.
I know. Yeah, so.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Oh, good job, Mindy. Good job.
Thank you.
Well, I wanted to ask you about your trip to Georgia, but I guess we're going to have to wait till next week for more details.
I will hold off on my trip details. Other than that, life's good.
How was your 4th? Did you have a good 4th of July?
I had a great 4th. The kids and I went to a local festival with fireworks, and so I took my daughter Marissa, my oldest twin, and my youngest, and then Marissa's boyfriend came with. And Marissa gets motion sickness, and so it was a carnival. So we got some, tickets for the amusement rides, but unfortunately, she wasn't feeling. After going on one, she started feeling nauseous. I should have known better. I should have brought the Dramamine, but I had it in the car. The problem was the car was 2 miles away.
I was going to say, whenever you go to something like this, you're lucky if you can find your car on the way back, let alone hike back to it for something.
Yeah. So because I wanted to park, I knew it was going to be a cluster to get out of there. So I parked in a way that I only had to do a right turn onto a main road and be gone.
Smart.
I think ahead. I'm a planner.
Yes.
So in order to park so easily to get out, we had to walk a little further. But I did ask her, I'm like, do you want me to get, the nausea medicine? And she's like, yeah. So I missed most of it.
You went back to the car.
Of course. I mean, I got back
Oh.
right before fireworks started. So I did get to see the fireworks. Didn't get to enjoy like the music and they had like food trucks and bands and stuff. But yeah, I felt bad because like I should have known to bring it. But
Did she even go on any rides after you
No.
gave her the medicine?
No.
Oh, I knew it.
she was like,
I
I'm
was
done.
like,
I'm
it'd be
done.
too late.
I know. And it's like one of those things that we still had tickets, so I just handed them off to like a family. I'm like, here, take some tickets
You're
because
so
we're not going to use them.
nice.
Yeah. What about you? How was the party? Did everyone bring everything that was on your checklist?
It was great. Everyone did what they were supposed to, and we had a great day. It couldn't have been more beautiful. It was sunny with a breeze. It wasn't humid. We had anything and everything you can imagine, from volleyball and pickleball to bags.
I love
and
pickleball.
Other frisbee games and
How
the
many people
lake.
were there?
A little over 50.
Yeah, that's a big family party.
Yeah, I invited 5 or 6 of my friends, and 5 of them were able to come. And
I was the one who wasn't. I know.
no,
You knew I was going to be in town.
no, but my family, they met my family, and everyone had a great time, and they all went out on this huge raft in the middle of the lake. And then, of course, me being me, I swam out to meet them a little later because I was chit-chatting with my family. But, I mean, everyone was just having a great time. But that huge raft had an anchor on it, so someone was going to have to push it back. Like, you can't row it back.
Yeah.
So, of course, I grabbed this raft with, well, one person was in a kayak and 4 adult human beings, and I swam that raft back to the beach.
Oh, exhausting.
And I was like, when I got back, I was like, oh, that was
a good
a good workout. My legs hurt the next day, but it
They
was
say
good.
swimming's one of the best workouts you can do.
It is, but it was a great day. Everyone had fun.
And the weather cooperated, which is
Weather cooperated, which is always
iffy.
not true because sometimes it is so humid you can't even stand it. And food was great, drinks were great, company was great. Couldn't have asked for a better day. So it was wonderful.
Wonderful. I hope, Bestie, you had the best 4th if you're in the United States. And if you're not,
Still
then
have
I
a great
hope-
4th of July.
Right, it's still
the
a
4th
date.
of July, wherever you are. It's still a day to have fun.
It is. But yeah,
Live every day like it's any day. The 4th of July is just any day anywhere else.
Yep. It should be a day celebrated, as should August 24th and as should September 3rd.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, those are days where 2 of the most influential people in podcasting were born.
Yeah. You might have to do some research to
You might
figure
have
out
to
who
do
they
some
are,
research, but
yeah.
yes,
And then they're
very
I heard they're
talented.
gonna plan a friendship renewal live show.
Yes,
in the works.
well, of course they will. They're the best. They're the best.
All right, I think that wraps it up. I am ready to go actually get some work done for the day. Some other work,
I
real
have
work,
to go mow the lawn at my parents'
Yay.
house.
Have fun.
Thank you. All right, bestie. Until next week, try your best to stay away from pits, whether they're pits in the ground, armpits, peach pits,
Pits in a lake, lake
pits in a lake, someone named Pits. Stay away from pits. And
Sweet
dreams,
bitches.
I couldn't help myself.
It was a
Too many
pit.
pits mentioned.
Such an odd word too.
I know.